On this episode of the Third Wheel Podcast at Night, me and Darcy dive deep, headfirst into CDD marriages. What to do when your significant other makes you choose between the baby y'all created together or him. Stay tuned on this episode. Welcome to another episode of the Third Wheel Podcast.
At night.
I'm Caleb.
And I'm Darcy.
And that never gets old. All right, Darcy. It is 3 a.m. as we shoot at the time of this recording. I prefer if you didn't laugh when I said that.
I'm sorry. It's technically 3:02, so.
Oh, yeah. Oh, gosh, I'm sleepy. But we knew. We have a button for that, lady.
Want to be in the moment.
All right. Well, as per usual, we react to bad marriage advice. Darcy has found a goldmine of content that will keep us busy throughout the ages. But as the show progresses, maybe we'll find some other cool stories. We're working on some other things right now, but I'm excited for what we have today. We got some great content for you today. What do you think's on the agenda first, Darcy? Did you pick one good story out of all 20 you just showed me?
Yeah, I'm probably going to start with the last one I just mentioned.
All right, cool.
So just I'm going to do a really quick preface instead of some of the longer ones. I joined this group initially to find some more Christian couples I can relate with and just found a plethora of foul comments or foul people or what have you. So figured this would be something perfect to laugh about. And then another preface is occasionally the post itself isn't funny, like it's very serious, it can be sad, or, like we'll really feel for the poster, but then the comments is where it just gets absolutely wild with the bad advice.
Why did she say that? Because I laugh a lot. I might laugh as this woman's talking about this horribly traumatic experience.
Right.
So am I a bad person? Yeah. But I don't know. I laugh at what I laugh at. Okay.
And so now sometimes it is the actual post that's funny, but I feel like we make it pretty obvious whenever it is the poster that's cracking us up.
It's driving us crazy.
All right. Caleb, do you know what secular is?
Yes, I do. In the context of what, though?
Okay, so...
Is anything secular?
Yeah, just secular in general.
Worldly, as the Christians will call it, worldly.
Yes,
anything that's not Christian.
Yes.
So music, secular books, it's not a Christian literature, so it's secular. Anything that's of the world and from the world. Mm-hmm. Sometimes people say secular is evil, but that's another discussion.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just want to make sure you understood what that... Because I've met a lot of people that are like, what's secular? And I'm like, just anything that's not Christian,
that
honestly.
Much, yeah. So satanic, secular.
No, that's just satanic.
No, stop, please. Okay.
All right, so this anonymous poster was reaching out and said, I've been courting.
A nun?
Yeah, I've been courting with a minister.
I already have a problem here.
Yes.
But please continue.
I've been courting with a minister for 3 months. I noticed that he listens to secular music, and I mentioned it to him. Ooh. How dare him? I'm a bit shocked that a pastor engages in this behavior. I told him that I don't like it, and he hasn't changed this. I'm not going to push him to live for God, so I told him I cannot move forward.
Oh, no. Is that the whole thing?
Yeah.
All right. So this girl starts off full swinging. I am courting a minister.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So what do you think? Full pastor, evangelist? What do you think he's doing? Minister? Or is that the whole spectrum? He does all of it.
Well, she says he's a minister, and then later says, bit shocked that a pastor engages in this behavior. So I'm assuming he's a pastor for a church, or like a youth pastor, some sort of pastoral figure.
What do you think sitting down across from her on a date sounds like as you're trying to talk to her, and she's like, oh, I'm so glad we're in this courtship right now. You know what I'm saying? Do you think if he said, hey, let's go out on a date, she's like, hold on a minute now.
Right.
Okay,
right.
That's too secular now.
Right.
We don't call it dating, okay?
Yeah.
We're taking me out for a divine encounter.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Isn't courting, though, where...
You're basically... we might have to Google this, but my impression of it is you're dating with the intention to marry.
So dating.
Right. No, I agree with you. I'm just trying to tell you... I'm trying to get into her head here. Like, when you say you're courting, it's supposed to be like, oh, no, this is the Christian dating. Like, we're serious, okay? It's intentional dating.
Okay, so... To court means be involved with someone romantically, typically with the intention of marrying.
What did I just say? Yeah, I know the Christian lingo. I got this.
See, but like, why? I don't understand. I don't know. Okay, sure.
It's the same thing,
right.
Except like Christians
They're just trying to be different.
Yeah, Christians like to be cool and act like they're better than everybody else. So
Okay.
we're courting. Okay, we don't. So imagine sitting across on a date with this girl, and you're like, how do you think how's asking her out go? You know what I'm saying? Like if I said, hey, can we go out for some coffee sometime? It's like, ooh, sorry. Like,
Right.
I only go to Christian bookstores and drink lattes. I don't do coffee dates. You know what I'm saying? And then like her latte has like no coffee in it. It's just like all creamer. You know what I mean though? You know what I'm trying to say? I'm trying to get something across here. Why are you laughing? I'm trying to talk to you here.
I don't know. Because to me, like, I think I asked this question to my parents when I was a kid, where I was like, what's the difference between courting and dating? And I thought that courting, you had consistent supervision, pretty much. So, like, you were never alone together.
Oh,
like,
yeah. I know what you mean.
you were with your parents or with friends that held you accountable. Like, there was never, like, a one-on-one just date
That's
with
all
someone.
extra. That's all extra stuff.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. No, courting is basically it's just dating with the intent to marry. Like
Okay.
it's a way for Christians to feel like they're doing it better than everybody else.
Okay.
So, yeah. I've seen Facebook posts where like, yeah, we're courting, and it's like, oh my god, just break up.
Okay.
So, all right, read that next part.
So, yeah. She notices that he listens to secular music,
Okay,
and I mentioned it.
Okay, so she took note. So what do you think it was? Do you think
I really feel like he was just listening to the radio. I feel like he was playing the radio on the way to their court.
to their courting session.
Yeah, their
Okay.
court.
Yeah. Okay. They're going to the courthouse to get divorced.
Yeah. Like, I feel like he was probably just playing the radio. Like,
Right.
I very much so doubt that he was listening to some, like,
Highway to Hell.
WAP on the
Yeah.
way to...
I wouldn't put past these ministers, let me
That's
tell
fair.
you.
That's fair.
You know what I mean?
But I feel like if it was something that bad, she would have said how, like,
Right.
grotesque the music was
Yeah.
he was listening to, not just explained it as secular music.
So what? She goes on to say that, like, okay, I told him about it, and he still does it, right? So, I mean, if I was him, though...
Do you need this to break it
Yes.
down? Okay.
Sorry. All right. She says, I'm a bit shocked that a pastor engages in this behavior. Would you call listening to the radio behavior?
No.
This is appalling. Wait till she finds out about porn. Let me tell you, because I would guarantee you that's not the only thing he does,
Yeah, because
behind
obviously
closed
he's such a
doors.
sinner.
Yeah.
All
right.
secular music.
Yeah. So, okay, I'll give a props for this part. I told him that I don't like it. Okay. Good for her. Okay, that she spoke her mind. All right. Okay. He has not changed this. I'm not going to push him to live for God. Okay, so he's a minister, but again, it's not good enough for her. They're not equally yoked.
Yeah.
You know
That's
what I mean?
what I was about to say.
Yeah, I'm about to say. So
This is looking very unequally yoked here to me.
yeah. So I told him I cannot move forward. So what's her question? That's what I'm confused about. What's she
She
asking
just posted
for?
it.
Yeah. So I was waiting for you to like get to like something. I'm going to like this for you. Oh, it's a picture. No. Okay. It's only got 3 reactions, not 3 likes. Reactions. One of them's the face, like the mouth agape.
I like how you were acting like you're on video. You said one of them's the face. As if they could see what kind of face you made.
Yeah. Well, I described it to him. So. All right. So good for you, Anon. You told him you can't move forward. I don't know what your question is. So I feel like
I feel like she just posted it looking for people to agree with her.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like.
Yeah.
Or for someone else to be like, oh my gosh, like how,
Right.
awful. This horrible minister.
To the comments.
Okay.
Rachel comes in and says, you are correct that secular music shouldn't be included in your lifestyle. Okay, she used some big words here. Being the children of God, whether you're a minister or believer, we are not supposed to conform ourselves any longer to the ways of the world. Okay? Rachel's so right. As a believer, if we listen or practice things as the world does, we encourage the patterns of this world and remain lukewarm. So it's not enough. Okay.
Does she only watch Christian movies too? Like,
I know, right? Hallmark all the time.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. She looks young too, Rachel. Sorry, I'm trying to zoom in here and take a look here. Yeah, she's like young-ish. That could be her husband. Her husband looks middle aged. She doesn't look like she's like this crazy old person.
Right.
Like Barbara.
Like Barbara,
Yeah,
yeah.
it looked like Barbara a few episodes ago where she's like, coming in with the walker and talking, not wearing a hat in church. You know what I mean? It's not enough for her that he's a minister. So me just serving as a prayer lead on my church, like for the prayer team, okay, just being a lead is so draining. It takes so much work. and it's volunteer. You know what I mean? So this guy's a full-on minister. He probably does a lot of Bible reading, does a lot of prayer time. He's like doing all this stuff. And so one time he's driving with this girl that he's courting. He turns on the radio and he's like, oh, you know, she hears, you know, Stairway to Heaven, right? And she starts freaking out because it's not a Christian band, you know what I mean? Maybe he popped on like some High School Musical and she just like flipped out, you know? She's like, we're not all in this together, okay? You know what I mean? So some girls, Anon, like you just cannot please, no matter how hard you work, no matter what you do, okay?
Right.
My first girlfriend dumped me over some BS, and no matter what I did to try to make her happy, she wasn't happy. And it's good. Whoever this guy is, the minister, pastor that she dumped, you dodged the bullet, okay? Because if it wasn't secular music, it would be some crazy something else you're doing.
Right.
Okay? This is the minute you turn on a basketball
You're
game.
not going to a Christian-owned business.
Yep.
You know,
yeah. Well, there was this guy one time at the college I went to that was like screaming about watching Sunday morning football or Sunday afternoon football and how it was a sin because it's violent. So, you know what I mean? Like, you dodged a bullet, my guy. If you turned on VeggieTales and she's like freaking out, VeggieTales sing-along music, and she's flipping out, then imagine the next time you suggest going, you know, to a bar and having a drink, how crazy flipped out she would have been. She's not going to find... Do you think she'll ever find happiness? Do you think Anon's ever going to find a guy that's going to meet all these parameters? Someone who's equally yoked like her?
I mean, I guess it's possible, but,
Right.
like, I don't know. That's just so, like, sacrilegious to me. Like, I get we're not supposed to be of the world, you know what I mean? Like, we're not supposed to be out here just, I don't know, doing the exact same stuff as everybody in the world, but, like, there is stuff made for our enjoyment,
Yeah.
you know? That doesn't always have to be so centered like that.
Right.
I don't know. It's so weird to me that people get so hung up on secular music. I can understand, like I said, if he was like just playing WAP in the car.
Yeah, right.
I would be kind of disgusted that.
Disgusted? You wouldn't. I'd be taken aback. Okay, here's the thing. When a
Maybe
girl,
not disgusted, but I'd be like,
Yeah.
really? Like you're a pastor and you're listening to this?
when a girl starts whipping out some crazy music, it's kind of attractive. I ain't gonna lie to you. So when a girl
That
puts
was
on
pretty
some
funny.
when the girls put on outlandish music, it's kind of attractive. I ain't gonna lie. Okay, so whoever the guy is that Anon was dating, he dodged the bullet. Do your best not to date in church, okay? Because they're all crazy. I'm trying to find one normal church girl to date, and good luck. Okay, I'm be looking for a very long time. All right, so this way for comments.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't see the name on this commenter, but they, 2023, they asked a very important question. Does he eat secular food too? That one got 4 likes and a laugh emoji.
Yeah,
All right,
that's pretty
that
funny.
is pretty great.
Yeah.
All right, good job. Okay, good question. So whoever this is, they make a very good point here. Like, you're being insane.
Right.
Right, but I
You're
think
being
this-
really over the top with this.
This though I think speaks for itself. So I don't think there's nothing to break down. So
Right.
Alex comments, as followers of Christ, we are to imitate him and not be conformed to this world. It's not surprising, though, that as many who minister have not applied the word of God to their own lives and are wolves in sheep's clothing. Best to move on.
He's talking like this, like he was touching kids.
I know, right? Yeah. That's a wolf in sheep's clothing, let me tell
Right,
you.
right.
A guy preying on children.
Right.
All right. So that's not all he says. He drops some good verses here. 1 John 2:15-17. Do not love this world, nor the things it offers you. For when you love the world, you do not have the love of the Father in you. For the world offers only a craving for physical pleasure. Oh, God. I don't like this translation. A craving for everything we see, and pride in our achievements and possessions. These are not from the Father, but are from this world, and this world is fading away, along with everything that people crave. But anyone who does what pleases God will live forever. So, you know what, Anon, you dodged a bullet. Okay, this guy, it says, anyone, let's see.
Is that commenter Alex a boy or a girl?
Good question. I see a few people in here. I see a guy. No, I see a whole family here.
Okay.
So, a guy and a wife and kids. So, it could be anybody. All right. I need you to hurry up and hide Anon's boyfriend. All right, Anon. If you had stayed with this man, you would not have lived forever. Per 1 John 2:15-17. Any thoughts on that, Darcy? Do you need to read it?
I feel like people take so much stuff so out of context. It's like, okay, for example, the verse that talks about those who love money What is it? About loving money?
I don't know, loves money and then doesn't love God.
Yeah.
Or can't serve two masters.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah. And so it's kind of giving me the same, like, vibe as that, where it's like, okay, it's not a sin to desire enough money to live comfortably.
Yeah.
It's not, a problem to go for a job because it pays more. It's not, you know what I mean? Like,
Well, there are people that get mad when people listen to contemporary Christian music.
Yeah.
There's a guy I follow on Facebook who's like, contemporary Christian music is evil.
oh, you should hear the way people talk about Christian rap.
That sounds even way worse.
Dude, the way they're trying to conform to the world and
Yeah.
make it, and I'm like, what about Christian country? What about Christian, like, anything? Like,
Yeah,
there's...
gospel is a genre, like old school gospel guys
Right.
was a genre before. You know
Right.
what I mean? So it's just ridiculous
Yeah.
that how far people go and just
Oh,
get
yeah.
crazy with it. So I don't know. I think,
So yeah, that verse kind of gives me like the same thing where it's like, do not love this world nor the things it offers you. Like, it's not telling you to not
Right.
enjoy moments that are
right.
whatever, whether it's good music or what have you.
Yeah.
Whether it's good food, whether, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you could really take things so far, like, take no pleasure in it. Okay, so then you need to have unseasoned meat.
Yeah.
You need to make sure it's halal all the time.
Yep.
I don't know if you know what halal
Nope.
is. Okay, so it's like,
I'm just nodding and agreeing.
it's like meat that's like, if I remember correctly, it's like meat that's like prayed over, cut a certain way,
Ugh.
it's drained a certain way, clean of all
I'm
blood.
too lazy for all that.
All that kind of stuff. So it's like you need to not have any seasoning on your meat. To throw out all your seasonings, salt, pepper, no. You need to eat the nastiest trash you can think of because you cannot enjoy anything of this world.
Right.
Like, if you want to go extreme, like, you can go extreme, and that's what I feel like they're doing here, where he's like a wolf in sheep's clothing
Yeah.
because he listened to Coldplay. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's it's freaking wild to me.
Anon, we love you, but you're going to be single for a very long time. That's all I got to say.
Or she's just going to be with an extremely over-religious person.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I could find something she's doing wrong,
Right.
And be like, oh my gosh, that bugs me, and I promise you, she would not change.
Well, like, I could even point out right here, she's not asking a question, she's not asking for advice. So basically, right now, what she's doing is gossiping.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. She's sinning.
You know what
There
I
you
mean?
go.
Like, you want to judge harshly. Like, let's judge.
Oh, yeah,
you know?
exactly. Exactly.
You want to dish it out, like, eat it too. You know?
Yeah. I got a good question for you. Is there any more comments?
No. Not that I screenshot, at least.
Shout outs to my buddy. I won't say his name, but you know who you are because I'm going to tell the story. He called me while I was playing some Call of Duty Zombies. And he said, hey, I was listening to your At Night episode 2. And he's like, it got me thinking. He said, so he laid it out for me, which I already knew his living situation, but he explained it again. He said, I live with my girlfriend. We're not married. Okay. We're having a kid. He described to me a situation in which some people would say he's playing house. Okay.
Okay.
They're basically married, except they don't have paperwork in it.
Okay.
But right, saying they're married. Okay, but he comes and he's like, yeah. So I was talking to this guy, and he said, the reason bad things are happening to you is because you're living with your girlfriend and you're not married. Because you're living in sin is why bad stuff happens to you. Give me your reaction to that. What do you think?
When me and Paul first got married, we...
Everything hit the fan, didn't it?
Everything.
Yeah.
Like, from...
Give me an extreme example here so people can be like, oh God.
Well, yeah. I mean, everything happened at once. I had a physical demonic attack.
I'm cutting that part out. No, I'm just kidding. I don't believe in demonic attacks, but continue. I'm an atheist when it comes to demons.
Okay. So,
Give me some practical here. What happened to you?
that happened. And then I had a SA case
Gross.
that
Cutting
I was...
that part out. No, I'm just kidding.
Would you stop it? You said, give me the worst examples. And you said, ugh. Disgusting.
That's going on the soundboard.
Yeah.
That's a good sound right there. I'm joking.
You gonna
All right.
ask me how I was dressed, too? No.
No, I'm not. All right. Anyway, all right, I'll stop. Continue.
I had that case going on. And it was, like, super intense and very extreme. I know you remember whenever I was going through that. That was a lot. We took in what used to be a friend of mine to try to help her get out of a hard situation that I was struggling in the year before and wanted
And
to
she
be
was
able to help.
stealing from you, breaking into your stuff. financial troubles.
Right.
Okay. But you did everything right.
Yeah.
You were married. It was on paper.
Right.
Your apartment caught fire.
Yeah.
And you had to move to a house, your parents' house.
Yeah.
And there was tension between you and your dad.
Right.
Okay.
And then I got followed by
Yep.
that one guy that was trying to like crash into my car.
Okay,
and I had to like run away.
Okay. She did everything right, guys.
Yeah.
You know, there's the paperwork saying they're married.
Right.
So I'm just saying, like,
It's not always so black and white of like,
No.
you do bad things happen.
No.
You do good things happen.
bad things are always going to happen
Right.
to you is the thing.
Right.
Doesn't matter if you're married, not married. Doesn't matter if you ran a red light. What you know what I mean?
Now,
Like,
of course, there's like natural consequences to things. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like if I, getting super drunk is a sin.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the consequences of getting super drunk is a hangover, you know?
not to mention, you wake up next to some guy. Not speaking from any personal experience here, but sometimes you wake up with your arms around someone. You're
My husband.
You're the big spoon. Okay, it happens. All right. Full disclaimer though, I was completely sober for that. That was the best day of my life. I never slept any better.
Paul's a good little spoon.
Yeah, he is. So anyway,
You know, like there are natural consequences. Having sex before marriage is a sin, and sometimes you have the consequence of a child coming out of that.
Yeah.
And not that a child's a awful thing, but
Right.
when you're not married, when you're not prepared, when you're not planning it out, like that's
yeah,
a pretty big heavy hitter.
yeah.
You know,
STDs. I think
Yeah.
that's one too.
Yeah.
If you do it a lot,
Right.
You know what I mean.
or just with the one wrong person.
I think if you're addicted to porn, you start like, oh well, this isn't satisfying me. I'm gonna
Right.
start buying. Then you start buying stuff. You start wasting money, and then it's just like drug addiction. You're wasting money. You're sick all
Yeah.
the time. Like there are consequences to negative actions. There are
Right.
consequences to
You
making
drink
right
and drive,
decisions.
you get arrested,
Yeah,
or you
or
kill
crash.
somebody,
Yeah.
or you know what I mean. So yeah, like bad things do have natural bad consequences that happen.
And bad things happen to good people.
Right.
That's the other thing too. Like
And good things happen to bad people.
people who die in car wrecks are usually not the drunk ones.
Right.
Or drunk driving accidents. The
Right.
people that die are usually the sober ones that were just
Right.
minding their own business
Yeah.
trying to get home.
They're
Okay.
the nice, sweet family driving home from church, and their nice family vacation that they took
Mm-hmm.
to, praise and worship Jesus, and they're the ones that end up dead. You know,
Yep.
I don't know. It depends what bad things he's talking about.
Right.
Like are these natural consequences of they're not married and this is what's going on. Like you said, they have a kid, right? So there's a natural consequence, and not that they don't love their kid or super happy that they
Right.
have
No,
their
they, yeah,
kid.
say they wanted their kid.
Right.
So-
But I don't know. Just different things.
Yeah. But I mean, even if they were married and they had their kid, like
Right.
consequences, I don't know. I don't know.
know.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And there are positive consequences for doing good things too.
Yeah.
But,
And sometimes there are negative consequences for doing the right thing.
Right.
So it's just like,
I would definitely say, like, I could see, are they Christian and living
Yeah.
together? Then I could see there being, like, conviction
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and maybe living in a little bit of guilt or shame or what have you, which would be justified because they would be sinning by living together.
Right.
Like if they want to, like, it's really not that expensive to get married if all you're doing is needing a paper signed.
right.
Like you need like maybe $100 to legally get married.
Right.
And even if you don't have the money to legally get married, at least like make a commitment to each other in front of friends.
Yeah.
I feel like that could potentially be seen the same in God's eyes if you have witnesses, you commit to each other and stuff like that.
Right.
And promise that when you have the funds to get it legally on paperwork, I could see it working that way too, so that you're not, living in sin per se.
Sure. So anyway.
I don't
Cool.
know if that was a good
No, that was
answer
good.
to what
Yeah.
you were asking.
Right. And then that's basically what I told them was like, okay, well, first off, the guy you're talking to, like, ask him how much porn he watched today.
Right.
Like, he's there's something he's doing wrong that,
Right.
like, just because you do everything right doesn't mean only good things are going to happen to you.
Right.
And that's not even a Christian philosophy. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
If anything, a lot of times when you start doing things right, that's when the bad stuff starts happening.
I agree. Makes you more susceptible to attacks. So
Yeah.
anyway, you got another post?
Yes, I do.
All right.
All right.
Lay it on me.
So
Anon?
yes.
Yes. I love you, Anon. You're my favorite. I want you on the show.
So this lady said, I got pregnant and wanted to keep the baby. My partner wasn't keen and didn't want me to keep the baby, but I went ahead and had the baby. Now the baby is born. He's trying to make me choose between him and the baby, saying I'm picking the baby over him. What should I do?
Pick the baby.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
and simple.
Right. I am a little astounded that she even has to really ask that question.
Because I think she's torn. I think she wants to be with this guy, if I'm being honest with you. Because why else would you be like, what do I do, him or the baby? Like, well, baby's obvious choice, but she probably does love this guy. And now she's like, what do I do?
Here's my thing, though. Like, picking between him or the baby, like, let's say if she picks him, what is she doing with the baby?
I was just
like,
about to
throwing
ask
it
you
in the
that.
dumpster
Yeah.
outside the, restaurant,
Just
or
a
like...
prom night dumpster baby.
Right.
They start swinging their umbilical cords everywhere. Anyway.
And so that's kind of my thing. Is like, she already picked the baby.
And here
She chose to have the baby when he didn't want to. She has already picked and chosen the baby.
So she says my partner. She's not even saying my boyfriend, my husband, my fiance.
Right.
Like, okay, this isn't even a permanent thing, lady.
Yeah.
Okay, you need to kind of accept that. There's a lot of not accepting things on your part here, where you're kind of just like being strung along by this guy. Because I kind of get the feeling that he doesn't even care about her. He just wants to be in control of this situation. Okay, so
And doesn't want to be a dad.
yeah, absolutely. So he's not gonna he's not gonna want to be a good husband or good boyfriend. Promise you.
See, natural consequences to sin.
Booyah! I got pregnant, wanted to keep the baby. My partner wasn't keen. Okay, so she's using big words here. So keen, he wasn't enthusiastic about it. Okay, he wasn't too thrilled. Right, that's keen. All right, and didn't want me to keep the baby, but I went ahead and had the baby. So she made the choice. Okay, she wants the baby. The baby is born. He's trying to make me choose between him and the baby, saying I'm picking the baby over him. That is okay. Well, he's not wrong. That's what you're doing, but it's also not.
You're also not wrong for doing that.
You're not making a wrong decision here. Like look, you had the baby. The baby is it needs a parent to live. Okay,
Yeah.
the baby's not going to take care of itself.
Right.
Him or her. It's not going to take care of itself.
Right.
All right. So yeah. What should you do? Get rid of the guy. Okay, he's not gonna. You're a single mom. It sucks, but I promise you'll find somebody that's gonna help you and want to be with you and
Right.
your baby.
So pretty much somebody said exactly what you just said. You pick your child. A grown man can survive on his own, and our children need us, especially a baby. This shouldn't even have to be said. Your child deserves better than this. Other people are saying get rid of him. Da da da. Somebody said, I chose my dog over my man, so I'm going to say this one's a no-brainer. The fact you're even questioning it raises more questions. So,
She's probably very young.
now,
Okay, give her some slack, guys.
now, Dusty,
Oh, I like
she
that name.
comes in.
She? There's a girl named Dusty.
I guess it could be a boy. Dusty is
I want to name my girl
unisex,
Dusty.
right?
I want to name my baby girl, my child, daughter, Dusty. Okay, and my son, Rusty. Continue.
Dusty.
Come here, Dusty. Tell you what?
So, I actually think what she said is,
Is this the controversial one you were thinking?
I almost kind of agree with her.
Give it to me, Dusty.
So she said, honestly, if you have to come on here and ask that question, then I say choose the man because I am sorry, but that baby deserves better.
Dang. That's cold.
And Nicole comes in and says, I 100% agree with this. I would never even question that decision.
So, Dusty, I agree with the first part. I agree with what you were saying, but could you lay out a plan for what to do with the baby?
I'd assume adoption.
Well, I mean, is it that easy, though, to be like, here, adoption?
Right. I don't know. I mean, that's the main reason. Like, okay, so I had a friend one time, a man. Okay, just put it in a
Named
little more
Brian.
perspective. No.
Sorry.
So he wanted to go to a Planned Parenthood and, like, protest, I guess. I don't know.
Sure.
And he wanted me to come with him, and I was like, no. And he was like, why? And I was like, they already know what they're doing is wrong. They already feel guilty or bad about it. Like, there's no question about it that people feel guilty walking in those doors. All you're doing is making them feel worse about themselves of this decision they're already going through with. So my question to you is, let's say you pull someone to the side and they decide they don't want to do it anymore. What do you have to present to them on their options? They know adoption's a thing. Do you have people, are you willing to take the child?
Right.
Are you going to send her to the adoption agency? Do you have a phone number for her to call? What are you doing
And
there?
she's still got like 9 months to carry the kid before she puts it into adoption.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Which is gonna. I know what you're saying, But my advice to them normally is like put a condom on. Like why you shouldn't be, I
Well,
don't
it's
know.
too late for that.
I know that, but it's like okay, one of my friends one time that I was really into before I could talk to girls, and she kept using me to, one time she asked me to babysit her kid so she could go on a date. And anyway, one time she invited me over and she started crying about her kid and all these things, and I was like, well, don't get pregnant at 19.
Right.
Or, whatever, 17, whatever age she was, you know what I mean? I don't know. I'm a big proponent for like, if you're in the situation, you have to deal with it. You gotta clean it up yourself. You gotta do all these things. I'm not pro-choice. I am pro-life, but at the same time, like, I understand that technically Planned Parenthood is their version of cleaning up their mess. I don't know.
Well, my main like thing, I was like telling the guy, I was like, look, we agree with each other that this is wrong, but what are you helping?
Right.
Are you presenting things for them to do to have a different choice? And so that was my main problem with going, was like, I don't know where to send them. I don't know who to call. I don't, just the same as they don't. So I'm going to sit there and yell at them about getting an abortion for them to be like, help me. And then I'm like, sorry, figure it out.
Is there nothing to say about like if you're yelling at someone and then they change their mind and then they leave? Would you say that never happens?
I can't really think of anything off the top of my head where that actually worked.
Right. I have heard people, now this is coming from not the most reliable source. It's a guy that used to live here. In fact, in this room, actually. I know he said that happened once, but I have heard that before from other people. I know people have a tendency to, make stuff up. But I'm sure somewhere, like, the protests have done something. Otherwise, I don't think people would keep doing it. If they saw nothing happen from it, if they never saw any change, what I'm saying? I
guess. I just find it a little hypocritical for people to show up that aren't willing to help be a part of the solution.
And I know what you mean. I think I understand that too.
So it's like, if you don't want to take their baby, why are you telling them to keep theirs?
Yeah.
So it's like, they did the action that caused this to happen. But, there are cases where they did wear protection. They were careful. Right. There was... in the 0.0002% world, it was out of assault. It was not something they wanted. It was, like that post we had the other day of the husband that took the condom off in the middle of sex because he wanted a kid. Yeah. There are times that it does happen a bit unfairly.
No, for sure.
But I still think you should carry to term and give it up. Mm-hmm. And I remember talking to somebody about it because they brought up the assault thing, and I was like, the amount of times that happens. Yeah. Like, you can't argue the 1 in a million times this happens as your argument for justifying it. But let's go along with that. A lady that made one of the most significant differences in my life was a product of SA. Mm. And she was a very, very powerful woman. Yeah. Great Christian lady. And as much as it's like, and as a woman that's been assaulted where there wasn't protection, where that was a fear of mine, where they didn't respect what happened with my body. I get the fear in that. I get that you wouldn't want, to have that kid. Yeah. I can completely sympathize with that situation.
The child itself is a product of something bad that happened to you. And maybe every time you look at it, it just reminds you of that. Even though it's a child, it's a life, it's a person. I can't imagine being in that position.
Right. And and here's my thing, because people are like, oh, having a baby is so traumatic, and if it happens out of assault, do you know how traumatic abortion is? Mm. And even in the Planned Parenthood, I've gone to Planned Parenthood before for whether it be birth control stuff or what have you, not for anything like that. They do actually offer some really pretty legit things for free that's government funded. They're not just this abortion clinic. Right. But they even had a pamphlet that said 98 in 100 women severely regret their abortions and have mental problems over it for the next 10 years because they don't know how to cope with it. So it's you really think you're saving yourself any trauma by going through with an abortion? Mm. You're really not. Right. And those get spliced and messed up all the time. I know people that had an abortion that can never have children again because they messed up taking the kid out. Dang. So it's I don't know. Yeah. People die on the operation table. It does happen. Mm. People are like, oh, well, that rarely okay, then let's go back to the assault cases. Yeah. You want to argue rarities. Let's argue rarities. Yeah. You know, you have just as much as a complication coming up in those procedures as you do in actual birth.
Yeah.
If not more. So, that was my little hot take. My little spiel.
Back to Dusty here. All right. Yeah, but I'm with you. So, like, I guess what sparked that was me saying, like, so Dusty, what's your, what about the baby, though? I understand you're saying, well, then get rid of it. But, like, hold on. How?
Right.
How should Anon, you know, make sure her baby's still being taken care of so she can go off and live her life? You know what I mean? I'm willing to bet Anon's very young. And she's like, you know, well, he's the father of my kid. She's got that, but also he doesn't want to be the father of my kid.
Right.
I'm going to tell you, Anon, I'm not going to be as harsh as Dusty and Darcy here. I know what they're saying, and I don't disagree with what they're saying. But I also, Anon, don't think you're a bad mom. I think you do care about the baby. I think you do want what's best for the baby. That's what caused you to want to do it in the first place, to keep it, okay? So I think you need to find somebody else. I think you need to toss this guy to the side. Because I promise you, if you pick the baby, if you pick if you pick the baby, he's not going to be happy. 2, if you pick him, it's not going to be a happy relationship. Because anytime you want to do something yourself, he's going to be like, well, it's either that or me. He's going to pull the that or me card every single time.
Pick your parents or pick me. Pick your friends or pick me.
Yep. So, baby, okay? Be a good mom. Focus on being a mom. Another guy will come along. Yeah. Someone who wants you.
Find
who wants
support.
To be. Yep. All right. So I encourage you to look to your friends, look to your parents, look to your grandparents, whatever. Everything else except this guy. All right. Any good comments? Any other good comments on that one?
Oh, that was pretty much it.
Okay, cool.
But I do have another one pulled up here.
Let's do it.
So someone said at the very beginning, it's an anonymous member. I have a dilemma.
Ooh, okay. I like this so far.
Yes.
Because normally I'm always like, you know, hello, brothers and sisters in Christ. I'm like, Jesus Christ. All right, so she didn't piss me off. She has a dilemma. It doesn't sound urgent, though, right? Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Right. So, yesterday, I was talking to my partner about the moms group I'm in on Facebook. So, he also wanted to join a Dad's Only group.
Okay, Dad's Only. They're just going to try to join the mom group.
After he got accepted, he was browsing through the page and found a group chat in the group where husbands share their wives' naked pictures.
No way.
He directly told me, and when we were about to exit and block the page, one message arrived with a photo in the group, and it's from an acquaintance of ours. We go to the same church. His wife and I are not friends, but we are friendly enough. I was mad for her, but my partner told me to let it go. We don't know their personal or intimate life. I saw them today at church and I felt guilty. I'm not sure she would be comfortable knowing her private pictures are being shared by her husband, but again, I don't want to cause anything. What should I do? Should I just let it go? You look so astonished.
I want to be careful here.
What do you mean careful?
This is a very sensitive topic.
Careful with what?
Okay.
If you say something that bad, you can just edit it out. I want to hear.
I'm not going to say anything that bad.
Okay, then say it.
I'm going to. If you'll just shut the hell up and let
Will
me
you
say
just say it already? Spit it out already.
I think...
Can you just... No.
I think Anon, I think you need to back off on this.
What?
Yes. Yeah.
Really?
They cannot say anything.
Why?
They need to mind their own business in this instance.
Really?
Yeah. No snitching here. Nope. She's going to find out on her own. The wife. She will. Okay, they can't cover this stuff up that long. Okay. He's gonna leave his computer on. It's gonna make that noise that you get when you get a Facebook message, and she'll log in and see it herself. In these instances where someone's cheating, mind your own business. They're gonna figure it out on their own eventually.
I'm so shocked by you right now.
Why are you shocked?
What do you mean, why am I shocked?
Why are you shocked?
I don't know. From, like, a woman's perspective to another woman, you tell them. Like, if somebody's husband came up to me and was like, Darcy, you're looking good, I'd be messaging his wife so quick. So quick. Screenshots, voice messages, whatever. Petty?
Yeah.
Petty?
Mm-hmm.
What?
You made just one comment?
Not like an in-passing. Like, I mean, we have this situation going on with someone that's definitely intrigued by me that was getting married.
Is he reaching out to you all the time asking you for unsolicited pics?
Right, like, he doesn't do that, and it's, like, passing comments, so I just mostly let it go.
Right.
But, like, I don't know. If somebody was, like, having sex with my husband and didn't know he was married, like, I would want her to tell me. Like,
You
very
want her
much
to
so.
tell you? The one who...
I mean, I would rather him tell me. But, like...
Oh, I'm thinking she probably knows. You know what I mean?
Not always. There was a guy that, okay, when I was 19, there was this guy back when I was dating people in their, like, 30s. So he was 33, and we were at a cigar lounge, and he was a very, very attractive man. So I approached him, and I bought him a drink, and I sat with him while we drank our drinks together. And I told him that I thought he was really attractive, da-da-da. Like I said, you know, I'm ballsy.
The trap.
Like, I see what I want.
Run,
I go get it.
33-year-old cigar guy, run. Darcy's going to snitch on you. She's trying to trap you so she can tell. The sole purpose of this is to get you.
And so we go on a date. It was nice. He was nice. Everything went fine. I did notice the age gap kind of bothered me a little bit with, like, some of the things I was interested in. He wasn't, because, you know, like social media. Like, he wasn't on any social media, da-da-da, or at least at the time he told me he wasn't. And I was like, oh, you know, and it was like, I loved Snapchatting everything and posting it to my story. Like, I just, you know, that kind of stuff. So I was like, okay. And, like, I just noticed we weren't quite relating on everything the way I wanted. So we didn't go out again, but there wasn't any problems. A couple months later, I'm scrolling through Facebook and recommended friend pops up.
Yes, him.
It's his wife with him in the picture. And I was like, huh? And they've been married like a couple years. And it was like a couple months previous that I went on a date with him. I had no idea. Like, I thought he was single. I didn't see a ring. None of that. And so that came up. And I private messaged her and I was like, hey, I really hate to be the one to do this, but you deserve to know. A couple months back, we went on a date. I had no idea he was married.
Oh, God.
Da-da-da. And she messaged me back very respectfully and was like, thank you so much for telling me. You know, if you don't mind, could you send me screenshots of, like, y'all messaging or something, just so I know? And so I took screenshots of our messages where it showed his phone number. And showed her that we were messaging back and forth about going on a date and stuff like that. And she was, like, super appreciative and very respectful and stuff like that. Most women, if they're gonna be, I don't know. I don't know. I'd want to be told. I'd prefer it come from my husband. But if he's not gonna be the one to tell me.
I don't disagree with what you did. But if I were given that, in this opportunity, in this instance, I'm telling Anon to stay out of it. The best bet is to stay out of this and let her figure it out on her own. Okay? He's so brazen. He's like, oh, I saw this guy in the chat, so let me message him real quick. Let me see your wife. He's going to mess up, and she's going to find out. I think in this instance, you don't want to be the bearer of bad news. I think you need to stay back.
I would at least hint for her to check his stuff. Maybe not even necessarily tell her up front, but be like, hey, you know, my husband noticed that he was in a group. Hang on. My husband joined a dad's group.
See what I put up with here, guys. Okay, you're seeing it in real time. I'm keeping this part in, okay, just so you get a heads up and tell me that I didn't, you know, you said you'd cut it out. Okay, not true. She beats me. All right. Go ahead and finish, please. Sorry for interrupting.
Approach her and say, hey, you know, my husband joined a Facebook group recently. Noticed your husband was also in the Facebook group, and at one point, my husband decided to leave because of some inappropriate content on there. I just wanted you to be aware of this to see if you maybe want to check it out yourself. That's even worse.
She doesn't know what she's looking for. She's gonna start blind. She might look at his Christmas tree husband group, you know, and be like, you know what I mean? That's too little information. Where's she gonna look? She's not gonna know what to look for in that.
A dad's group on Facebook?
No, I don't think it's gonna work because he's probably in several of those.
Okay, but what? How's she gonna find out if she doesn't even have that?
She'll figure. I'm telling you, he's gonna slip up, and it'll be revealed on its own.
He's
so sloppy.
It's not even that he's cheating though. He's sharing her naked pictures. That's foul.
Okay, so.
He's
here's what
soliciting
I'm
porn. That would be like if me and Paul were doing stuff and he videotaped it and posted it to Pornhub, I would want somebody to tell me it's on Pornhub so I can get it taken down. See? Oh wait, why would you be?
Oh my God! Hit download. No, I'm kidding. I would actually be grossed out. Okay. Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
I've been in this situation before.
Okay.
Okay. So believe it or
You've
not,
posted your girlfriend's
right.
nudes
Yeah.
to Facebook
and then I wish you didn't snitch on me. So that's why I'm biased here. But no, I've been in this situation. Well, sort of. Like indirectly. My buddy was saying, hey, what do I do? Okay, and here's my thing. He didn't bring it up to me. He brought it up to this girl he was trying to flirt with. And I think he was trying to sound like he was in a real ethical conundrum and be like, what should I do? Should I be the big man? Like, he was trying to impress her. He was trying to act like he was, like, going to do the right thing. And anyway, it was this weird situation. When realistically, he was keeping the pics that he got for himself.
Oh.
Her husband, so this woman was, like, basically sending her unsolicited photos to random coworkers of this guy.
Okay.
Trying to get people to come over and sleep with her and spend time with her. And she had kids. She's been married to this guy for quite a while. She was very young, and she was unhappy.
She was sending pictures of herself or her
Yep.
husband. Well, that's where it's a little different. But go on.
Different? How so?
What do you mean? Read the post again.
I get that. But why is it different? The question was, do we tell the husband that...
No, the wife. Do we tell the wife that her husband is posting her nude pictures?
So it's just a gender thing now?
What?
What? So do we not tell the husband that, hey, dude, your wife's screwing around on you behind your back?
I mean, I
least
would.
Trying to.
But it's still different.
How's-
Like, this
I
is
don't
more
get how-
serious.
What?
It would be just as serious if it was opposite way around. Like, if she was posting pictures of him without his knowledge. Like, this almost like, I don't know, it's assault. It's like, it's a form of SA to me. Of the fact that
You can't pull
you're
the
not
essay
you're
card
not giving
every time
consent
and just think I'm going to agree with your opinion.
because you're not consenting. There's no consent in this. She doesn't, at least from what I gather, unless they're really into that, which I would hope not. But as far as we know, she has no knowledge of this, no consent. If she's not consenting to her nude photos being exploited for other men to see, it would fall in a semi, like, not an actual essay category, but I feel like it would kind of stem. Like, if this is essay and you have all this stuff, like, in the middle, it's like stems kind of like over here. Do you see what I'm saying? There's no consent involved in this.
All right, Anand. You have it here. Darcy says go for it. I say don't say anything. All right. We're not going to agree on this one. I'm actually surprised because we normally give very good co-op advice. Okay. In this instance, we're on opposite sides of the spectrum here.
And it's going to happen eventually.
Yeah. I mean, hey, we had our first fight the other night, by the way, guys. That was pretty cool. I was very proud of us.
It was a bicker.
That's not bad, though. 3 years into us being friends, no bickering. Pretty good. And then we did like twice in 1 week. So.
Both of them your fault.
My fault, guys. Okay. Everyone knows on the main show, I'm very insecure. So I take full responsibility for our bickering. Do we need to break that one down, or do you think we did enough here?
I mean, you can read through it again if
I think we're okay.
you want, but there's some comments. So there's a comment here that agrees with you.
Okay, read it to me.
Okay.
I want someone to reinforce my position.
At least if I remember correctly.
It's brilliant.
I'm in a CDD marriage.
What?
What's CDD? Okay.
Charlie, Dana, Delilah.
I'm about to Google this now.
Yeah. Please. C, D, and D. What is it, Darcy? As you pull it up.
Christian Domestic Discipline, or CDD, has been referred to as evangelical BDSM and spanking for Jesus by perplexed, amused, and horrified outside observers. You see the kind of person that's agreeing with you, Caleb? I did not expect that. I thought I was just going to say it was like an open relationship or something. You gonna say anything? You look a little lost for words. I've never seen you at a complete loss for words like this.
Let's read the comment.
So he said, I'm a C in a C.
I got that part. Read the next part.
So my advice may be a little different than most.
Just a little bit.
I think you should submit to your husband's decision on this. If it truly bothers you, talk to him about it. Tell him the struggle you're having, but ultimately accept his decision, Ephesians 5:24. But as the church is subject to Christ, so also the wives ought to be to their husbands and everything.
Everything you said after you being in a CDD marriage was solid. Why did you have to? You didn't have to throw that in there, bro. You could have left that out, and I would.
Spanking for Jesus.
I can't. His point's invalid now.
Oh my god, I'm so glad I didn't know what that was before I got on here because I liked being just as shocked as you were. Oh my god, it's hot in here. I'm blushing.
Just read another comment.
Oh my god.
Just give me one that's against me so I can debunk it.
You don't want to go more into CDD?
No, I don't. I really don't.
Oh my god. I didn't even know that was a category. So Julie says...
I need a minute. After this episode, we're taking like a 6-week hiatus. All right.
So, Julie says, I'd tell her. She needs to know. I'd tell your pastor for sure. Those images will be online forever, and I'm sure forwarded by anyone who feels the need to do so. Anna replies to Julie, I agree. If she does know, the more reason to involve the pastor. This sin can affect the entire church. I'm sorry that her husband had to be exposed to that, but I believe God allowed this to come to light for a reason.
Okay. You okay?
My face is so hot and red from reading that stupid CDD description. Oh, God. Okay.
All right, Anon. You win. Darcy wins. Everybody else but me wins. All right. I screenshot everything you have. Okay. Don't screenshot. Would you tell him to tell her? Okay, don't let the husband see. Would you tell her to save the picture that's in question and have that sent over?
Possibly, if she needs it, but I would advise her to like black out like the actual nude part of her. Because to me, like, if someone sent me a fully nude picture of me, like, I'd feel really exposed. And I think if she were to at least put, like, a blackout over it, just so she can see which picture she's talking about without having to see the full nudity through it, it might bring a little bit more comfort.
Sure.
Like, she's still going to feel possibly equally
everyone else
exposed.
got the uncensored version.
Right. But if, like, I don't know, if I got sent an uncensored version of my own nude pic, I'd be sitting there, like, in tears sobbing. But if somebody, like, blacked it out, I could at least process it a little differently rather than it just being, like, there.
Yeah. In this instance, I'm going to go ahead and say I changed my mind. I think you do need to tell the wife. Now, if you want to get extra crazy with it, okay, you tell the husband that if you don't give me $500, I'm going to tell your wife.
So I don't think this should be brought up to the without the wife already knowing.
It depends. Okay, so
unless the dude's in leadership.
I was going to say, if he's like in a pastoral position, if he's a higher up.
If he's just a member of the church, tell the wife first.
Yeah.
If the wife already knows and it's all about it, I could see them approaching the pastor because, like they said, that shines a bad light on the church itself.
Right.
Now, if he's in leadership, you definitely need to tell both of them.
Yes,
tell the wife first.
And it feels weird that we're like, well, if he's in leadership, we're absolutely going to expose him. Mm-hmm. Okay. But I think we don't want to be hypocrites here. We've always preached that people in higher positions in church need to be held accountable for their actions. Mm-hmm. Okay. This is worse than a porn addiction. This is worse than cheating. This is worse than a lot of other smaller subcategories of sexual sin. This is like
funny how you switched up like that.
I didn't say it wasn't. Okay. I never said these were good things. All right. Don't let Darcy confuse the audience. I never said I approved of this guy's actions. Originally, my point was just to stay out of it and let it come to light on its own. But things have changed a little bit. I think that in this instance, someone else is being violated without them knowing. I think I can agree with that. I think the proper steps need to be taken to let the wife of that individual know that things are happening without her consent. Mm-hmm. Okay, and I think that needs to be addressed. I think it needs to be fixed. So, do you have any other closing thoughts on that, Darcy?
No.
I learned a new term today. I learned there are things that I wish I had not learned. I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm pretty flustered right now.
How do you have Christian
time.
BDS?
I'm afraid we don't have any time to unpack this.
It literally said spanking for Jesus. So, like, how does
The Bible
that work?
says, spare the rod, spoil the child. Okay? Some people grow up faster than others. All right? Some people are still in the baby phase. All right? I think it's best to leave it at that, as we are now out of time.
Dude, my mind's running wild right now.
I prefer to stop there, because I don't want my mind to run wild. Okay? Thank you, Jesus. All right, that's it for this episode.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. See you later.